Hmm. Nope. What is up? What's going on? What's up, everybody? Watching watching the game last night. I had a few thoughts. I didn't watch too much of it. I was trying to stay away from the embarrassment. I was trying to stay away from getting mad. I haven't watched too many games this year. I watched, in the beginning, but then I kind of quickly got to the point where I was like, man, I don't want to watch too much of this junk from offense, defense, coaching, Jerry Jones, anybody. But last night I had a couple of takeaways. The first one that really just baffled me was once again. Well, I ain't gonna say it baffled me, but it did kind of just make me think like, bro, we got to get rid of Jerry Jones. I don't know how, and it's really impossible because it's the whole family. We're gonna have his son coming up next, and I don't know if his son is gonna be just like him or not. But let's see. But as far as that goes, I don't know. I'm gonna show y'all this clip of Jerry Jones. He was talking about the block punt. I couldn't even believe he said this. It's like he don't even know what's going on. That's why I say in my opinion, and I keep saying it, he's the worst owner in the league and has been that way for a while. He goes on to say that, you know, I guess we shouldn't have even blocked the punt. But what he doesn't realize is if you block the punt, all you got to do is get away from it. I mean, it's a turnover. If you touch it, then it's like it's a change of possession. And when you have a change of possession, the other team can get it now. So if you don't pick it up, or if you don't fall on it or dead to play with the ball in your possession and they get it, it's going to be their ball and they're going to have a fresh set of downs. But, he's the owner. He knows everything. Can't nobody tell him nothing, which is crazy because he will not listen to what anybody says. He's going to keep costing his team every chance he gets.
We made the mistakes out there. That mistake we made at the end was really, it was very impactful is all I can say. Okay.
Jerry, how much emotional whiplash is there going from the block to punt to having that early play?
Well, the odds are, the coach said we made the play and blocked the punt, but then we had a 1 and X happen when after blocking the punt we touched the ball. That's all should be figured in if we decide to block the punt. We made the mistakes out there.
See, I mean, he said that should have all been factored in, but it's like he doesn't even know the the whole process behind what's going on. To make a statement like that, it shows he's just out of touch. He said something earlier in this year that which didn't make any sense as well. And when you hearing these things from your owner, it calls for concern. It's like, what's going on? Does he not realize what he's talking about? It does he not realize what he's saying? So basically, he'll just get up there and say anything as long as he wants to save face and make it seem as if he's making all the best decisions when true Cowboys fans know that he's not. We all know that Jerry Jones is either wasting our time and doesn't know what he's doing, or he knows exactly what he's doing and he's just trying to uh, increase profits, or he only cares about the money. Because I was listening to a guy's space last night. His name is Your Guy Nix. If you just search that up on Twitter, it's Your Guy Nix, Nix. And he was talking about how he was at the game and it was a lot of Bengals fans at the game. And he said if it wasn't for the Bengals fans, he don't know if it would have been 50% of the stands would have been full, which is amazing to me when you think about it. Because most of the time, Cowboys fans, and I be wanting people not to go to the games as well, but to actually see it happening, that's kind of, that's an eye opener if you ask me. But who knows, man? That's what he said. Y'all have to ask him about that. But overall, the Cowboys is it's just a bad team, and I think they got a clean house. I'm not a fan of Mike McCarthy. Uh, I wish Mike McCarthy would either leave or they would just fire him and let him go. I really would like for it to happen before the season over with. That way we can go ahead and get some fresh new coaches in there and let them go ahead and kind of evaluate some of these players and see what they can do. I also would like for them to go ahead and get rid of Cooper Rush, man. He looked bad last night. I know a lot of people was like kind of disagreeing with me when I was saying, man, just let Trey Lance play. And they like, well, in the preseason he was this and he threw a lot of picks and whatnot. But I mean, we're not gonna win anyway. I would rather see what he got. I mean, you paid him $5 million to sit on the bench. I would rather see what Trey Lance has rather than Cooper Rush. Because Cooper Rush was missing balls, throwing balls in the dirt, making bad decisions. We've seen him drop snaps early in the year. I mean, a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? Just losing the ball, taking off. He's trying to run, he's stumbling. Like he can't even get his feet underneath him when he's taking off. It's just bad, bro. I would rather see Trey at least give us a little bit of excitement where he would take off maybe a 20-yard run here and there, a nice throw here and there, and let the man get some experience. You paid him this money. Why not? This would be the perfect opportunity to let him get some experience where he could say, well, I mean, the season is really a lost cause. I can kind of, you know, have more free will to throw the ball around, even more, really, just to kind of see what I can do and what I got instead of, him coming in where maybe we're a middle of the road team. We could possibly make the playoffs and he is trying to make good decisions every single time, in fear of just blowing the whole thing up, which I'm not a fan of that as well. But I mean, even in that case, he would still have his opportunities, and that's all I'm really looking for. I'm looking for Trey Lance to get his opportunities. I'm looking for Trey Lance to get out there so we can see what he has as fans and as the team, and because I honestly don't think he's really gotten a fair chance to really display his skills because in the league they give a lot of these. They either throw him out there, just throw them to the wolves and mess their careers up. Or they just never give him, they let him play like one or two series and say, oh, he ain't got it. All right, I'm going to put him back on the bench. I'm going to play this guy. Or they'll give somebody like one game and then they don't really play him after that. Like, I mean, you really have to, some people, it takes seasons. Like when Peyton Manning first came out, he was bad. He was throwing a lot of picks those first seasons. And then he came around and he turned into a very efficient quarterback, a Hall of Famer now. That's why I say you got to give a lot of these guys time. You gotta let a bunch of these guys develop. A lot of these new quarterbacks, they don't give them time to develop. They just throwing them out there, messing up their confidence, and they never get back on track. Then you end up trading them, which furthers just tears down their confidence. So then they think, damn, I'm really not that good. So now I go over here, and this team, they don't really want me. The players may look at me a certain way, like, man, he's just gonna come over here and throw a bunch of picks and whatnot. When that's not the case either. So that's why I wish they would definitely give Trey Lance an opportunity so we can see what he got. Mike McCarthy last night also didn't stick to the run game. Rico Dowdle, he had 18 carries for 131 yards. It was one play where he even busted out. He got about 12 or 13 yards, and I don't even think they gave him the ball anymore after that. It's just bad coaching to me. For some reason, Mike McCarthy does not like to run at all. He'll run every now and then, but besides that, he'll just get away from it. He wants to just throw. I don't like his play calling. He runs the same routes, these same route trees with these players. I mean, keep in mind, I know we don't have an adequate wide receiver core, but at the same time, some of these routes are just, it's just so basic. It's corny. It's a waste of time, and it's all around bad. But I wanted to show y'all that punt that I was just referencing earlier when Jerry Jones came on, and I played his clip. But here is that actual punt play.
That's blocked. And picked up by...
Like, everybody knows you don't touch that ball, man. You know what I'm saying? That should be something that's taught special teams 101. You don't touch that ball when it passes that line of scrimmage. That's a turnover. Now, usually when it's in the backfield, you know, you can go ahead and touch it then, because if you don't get it, and most of the time they just gonna fall on it and it's gonna be a turnover, or you know, or it'll reset back there, or, you know, whatever the situation may be. But it won't be as bad as this. This is basically just a gimme. You just gave the team the ball, and it ended the game, because now they went down there and scored, and then you basically didn't have a chance when you got Cooper Rush as your quarterback.
Cincinnati out across the 4. The offense comes back onto the field for Cincinnati. Here's the block.
Yeah, the block is made, and then someone, I didn't see who exactly
Ruling
it was.
on the field on a kick play. The ball was touched by the receiving team beyond the line and then recovered by the kicking team. As soon as...
Right
Look at that.
here.
Right there. Why would you try to grab that?
It was just act. A minute 10 left. Burrow.
And then you got this.
Chase.
This is the result of a
There
bad
he
play.
goes. Jamar Chase.
Not catching him.
Just walked in the
Touchdown
end zone.
Bengals. That is second of the night. 40 yards for the go-ahead points.
Yeah, they bring 5.
You see, and then he made a bad defensive play because the way he played the ball. The two route trees that they had one wide receiver going in towards the line of scrimmage, one going out towards the line of scrimmage. You had the safety in the back who was playing too far off, and he couldn't recover in time to make this play once Chase turned it inside and scored the touchdown.
Rush, and you're one-on-one outside. Deron Bland, he's in soft coverage and just overruns it.
You see what I'm saying? So it was just all around bad by the Dallas Cowboys. That makes me sick to my stomach. And then just to make things worse, you had the DeMarvion Overshown injury, which just really hurt my heart because he's a East Texas kid from around here. Good player, better than what I thought. And he ended up getting hurt for the second time in his career, his young career. And I wish him the best, man. I hope we can get him back next year sometime. Who knows? But I think it's going to be pretty bad structural damage when it pertains to his knee. Let me show y'all that play real quick.
Brown again picks up the first down. Kendricks in the middle. He was playing middle linebacker at the age of 32 in his 10th year. Makes the tackle, and a player is down for Dallas. And that's Overshown.
Oh, no. He can't even move, bro. Right there. You see he's locked up in a blocking position. He's getting blocked. And then I think that's Mozzie Smith or somebody threw the guy onto his knee. You see, he's going to make his knee actually buckle.
They'll give him attention, and we will take a break.
think it's
Well,
just
just
it was
a
glad
moment
to see
ago,
that he walked off the
DeMarvion
field,
Overshown
but
able to get up, needed a lot of help to get off the field. He missed his entire rookie season last year with a torn left ACL in a preseason game, and you can see his right leg get pinned. And you just have to hope for the best.
It was just, I was hurt for my team, but I was really hurt for him because he's a good player. He's put in a lot of work, and for him to sit up there and his season to end in such a bad way once again. Last time his season ended before it even got started. Now we on what game is this? What game are we into? 14 games, and then he get hurt again. It's just, I hate to see it for him. Like I say, I wish him the best. I hope things work out for him. I hope he can come back. But at this point, it's almost as if we probably need to start looking for new players, start looking for new coaching, because it's just not a good look. We need all the help we can get. I don't think we're going to get any coach to come in and clean this up, to be honest with you, because we got bad ownership. I think Jerry Jones is such a bad owner. I don't think whoever comes in, that they can fix this. With Jerry Jones in the way, making bad decision after bad decision, is going to continue to hurt this franchise. It ain't nothing that any coach could do to overcome that. I don't care what coach it is. If you got bad ownership, you're not going to get anywhere. You see a lot of these teams in the league, and they have bad owners, and they can't overcome it. There is no potential to overcome anything that Jerry Jones is doing. He wants to be the center of attention. He's doing his radio shows. He's coming to the media acting as if he doesn't make anything, any wrong decisions pertaining to this team. He's constantly blowing smoke up reporters' asses after the game. He wants to be seen. The only thing that Cowboys fans can do, which is very hard, and I don't think a lot of us will do, is just not watch the games. Not go to the games, not buy the merchandise. Just don't participate in it. But most people are still, they're going to participate in it. You can't really stop some people, because a lot of Cowboys fans, they love the Cowboys that much. And I do too. But it's some years here and there where I can't watch it, man. It's unbearable even for me. Because it's like, I got to watch this again. Then I got to hear Jerry Jones come out and tell me, oh, well, I believe we can still do this, and I still think it's good things going to happen. It's over with. Let some of these young guys play. I don't care about want to see Cooper Rush. He's not that good of a player. I don't care. Put Trey Lance in there. Play some of these offensive linemen. Tyler Guyton needs to get bigger. I said this at the beginning of the season. His shoulders look too small to me. He needs better technique. What's the guy who came in? I think he's going to be pretty good. Brock Hoffman or something like that. I think he's a good lineman. I like what I see from him. I'm not worried about Tyler Smith. He's hurt right now. But the lineman, I feel like we can grab another lineman in the draft, or maybe pick one up from another team. Because in this league, I think it's a lot of good linemen out there. When I watch a lot of these games, I think it's a lot of good offensive linemen. But it's very few positions that come up for these guys to play. Because most of the time, when you have good linemen, they usually just stay in the game, and they don't get hurt too much. And when they play for years and years and years and years. And a lot of these people, they end up sitting behind people for years. I mean, for years. So that's why I say I think we can get some linemen. to fill some of these holes. I think we need to get some more trench players on the defensive line to fill some of those holes. I like Leafau as a linebacker. I think we can grab another linebacker for maybe the draft or pick one up. The cornerback situation is iffy. I don't know how that's going to work out next year. I think we need to grab some cornerbacks as well. Jordan Lewis has been pretty good for us, and Trayvon had some issues this year, but not too bad. I think a lot of the morale is down with some of these players. That's why I won't really hold it against them. Oh, and I also think that I still believe that Michael Parsons is trade bait. I know he tried to act like he was all upset and whatnot about the game, and he left early, but I really don't care at this point with him. I'm kind of done with him. Some people may not want to hear that. They may not agree with me, but I'm done with Michael. I think he's trade bait. Somebody else can pick him up. They can have him, do whatever they want to do with him. And then maybe we can get some players for him in return, if possible. But as y'all see, DeMarvion, with that injury, he's out for the whole year. I think it was pretty bad. I haven't read any reports on how bad it was, but it was pretty bad. Now, I did see this article, too. It was talking about Troy Aikman says he expects Mike McCarthy to return as Cowboys head coach in 2025. Troy. Let me see something. Is he going to play?
There's joy to be had in finding the perfect gifts for the ones you love. And Saks.com's holiday gift guide can make it easy. Whether it's surprising your hard-to-shop-for sister with a Chloe bracelet bag or gifting your partner a memorable scent from Gucci that matches their personality.
This episode is brought to you by Patel Limited.
Said the three times. I don't recall saying the name, but I thought that you might take the opportunity. I think they're cousins of our sponsors. So you had a home game like this 3 weeks ago. It feels like more than 3 weeks. The Houston game. So as you have prepared for this, what is the difference you see between Dallas tonight and 3 weeks ago?
Oh, they obviously come into this game feeling better about themselves. The game that they won there in Washington was a good turning point for them and kind of got them at least headed in the right direction against a team that was playing good football. And so it is interesting, though, Brad. You see him each and every week. That I think, once Micah Parsons came back, this has just kind of been a different team in a lot of ways. It certainly has been defensively. They've gotten some turnovers. They've been able to get after the quarterback. And then I think Cooper Rush has done a good job as well. So, we come into this game with two teams that really had expectations of competing for a Super Bowl, and obviously now they're just hanging on by a thread, hoping to get into the postseason, which is still very unlikely. But yet, with that said, I do think that these are two teams that have not quit, and they very much want to win this game and keep their playoff hopes alive. And so I think we're going to have an entertaining ball game.
Since you are able to come at it from, by necessity, an objective perspective tonight, what's worse, the Cowboys offense or the Bengals defense?
Well, I just got done talking to Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, prior to going on with you, and I think it's fair to say, and I don't think he would object, I think Cincinnati's defense is worse than what we've seen from the Cowboys offense, and it's really a big disappointment for him. Like the Cowboys, they've had a number of injuries in the secondary. They've had some other issues. They're not able to get a pass rush, and who ends up kind of winning on that side of things, whether it's Cincinnati defensively or Dallas offensively, will be interesting to see. But I would expect that Cooper Rush will have some success, and I think they'll have some success on the ground with Rico Dowdle again tonight as well.
Have you seen many quarterbacks play better than Joe Burrow is in losing 8 games?
I've not seen many quarterbacks play better than him when they've gone undefeated. I mean, this guy, he without question is my favorite quarterback in the NFL, maybe my favorite player of all time for that matter.
Hold on, of all time?
Quite possibly, Brad.
You were a big Marino fan. Are we putting him in Marino category?
Well, this guy, I love everything about him, especially in today's NFL where you just don't see these types of players that he's an old school quarterback. He could have played in the 90s. He could have been on one of those teams like Elway or Marino or Jim Kelly or any number of those type of guys. He has to anticipate. He's moving much better this year than I've seen at any other time in his career. Some of that's out of necessity, but the other part of it is he's healthy. But he's taken a lot of hits. The offensive line hasn't protected him particularly well. He has no running game. He's had no running game since he became the starter in Cincinnati 5 years ago. And yet he's putting up historical numbers, and he's just a pleasure to watch. And I do know this, Brad. I don't know if he's the best quarterback in the game today. Obviously, you've got Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but he throws with anticipation better than anybody currently playing the game, and for that, I have a great admiration for him.
Laufenberg is going to be, brokenhearted to know that you think that he's a notch above him.
A notch above Babe Laufenberg?
Yeah.
Well, that's a high bar, I know. But,
Babe's going to be disappointed.
Get him a glass of milk or something when you break the news to him.
Yeah, I will. So the pair of receivers that he has is part of it. And I was thinking today, especially after watching the Rams yesterday, those two guys are on fire. There's how many teams have two receivers functioning better than these two guys?
Oh, those two in Minnesota are pretty good too. But yeah, you're right. I think that I tried to guard against, because I went through this as a player, that it seems like on Monday night the announcers will always say this guy does this better than anybody in the game, and then the next week that next player does it better than anybody in the game. And so I try not to do that, but these two guys are really, really good. And of course, they've got a history with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase going back to college. T. Higgins came in with the same draft class as him. And they're just a different team with T. Higgins on the field, because it helps take some of the pressure, at least a little bit, off of Jamar Chase, and then the big plays that he's able to make. But that's an awfully good group. We've got the Minnesota Vikings next week on Monday night, so I'm looking forward to seeing Justin Jefferson and then Jordan Addison as well.
From your perspective, the best you can hope for every week is a good game.
Yeah.
When we are in week 14 and you've got two teams, it could be really interesting, as you said a minute ago, but you also could be looking at two teams who are headed for the golf clubs. Is that harder for you to prepare for, or easier?
It's a little harder and different, quite honestly, at ESPN and doing Monday night, because when I was at Fox, because of our slate of games, we were always going to get competitive, compelling games, so teams that were in it. We never had teams with losing records at this stage of the season. But with that said, we've had other games, of course, this year and other years since I came over to Monday night that teams aren't in the playoff picture, but yet the games themselves have been pretty good. So this year, quite honestly, we've had a lot of games that just have not been great matchups. We thought, for instance, Dallas-Houston would have been a great matchup, and it wasn't because of where those teams were tonight, certainly, but yet at the end of the night, we've had really good games, and I anticipate there are no guarantees as far as what might happen if you make a coaching change. And I just feel that for a team that I really do not think is that far away, I just don't believe that if you win 12 games in 3 years straight, that you come into this year and, yeah, the wheels have fallen off, but there's a lot of reasons for that. They didn't address some needs in the offseason. The youth that they anticipated didn't.
And that's on Jerry Jones. That's one of those things that I'm talking about. That's on Jerry Jones. He said he was all in, and he obviously wasn't all in. That's one of those blowing the smoke up your ass things that I be talking about. And that's why I say it really doesn't matter. They can change the coach or not. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Because Jerry Jones won't get out of the way of this team. So all of the bad fortune, bad luck, whatever you want to call it, that we going to get, it's going to be because of Jerry Jones. So basically, we getting exactly what we deserve, especially with Jerry Jones as the owner. This is what you're going to get. It doesn't matter. He thinks, Troy thinks that we still a contender. We just didn't make the right moves. That's on the GM.
come along and develop the way that they had hoped, and then the injuries that they have had. And I like the way this team's playing right now, even without their franchise quarterback. So I sense that it's a team that really believes in Mike McCarthy. I feel the locker room wants him back. I think he's a really good football coach. I believe Jerry Jones thinks he's a really good football coach too, and I think it's the last thing that Jerry Jones wants to do. So for those reasons, now if this game gets ugly and it's in the Bengals' favor, anything might happen. I don't anticipate that happening tonight, but as we stand and talk right now, Brad, I expect Mike McCarthy to be back in 2025.
I don't know how well you've gotten to know Zach.
I mean, they may think he's a good coach, but I feel as if he didn't fell into that category of coaches who just do the same thing over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? People know their plays. They know what type of route trees they run. They know that he doesn't like to run the ball. They know what type of players he likes to use. They know what type of players he doesn't like to use. They know his tendencies now, and he just does them. Like, if you remember at the beginning of the season, he was always doing the reverse with CeeDee Lamb. It's like nobody knew that they was going to do that. It was one of the first plays he would run every game, especially like the first play. It would be either reverse or sometime on the first drive they would do that reverse. And it was just a basic reverse. You would think that he would change it up, maybe not give it to him, maybe do a pitch back play. Like it was a college play earlier this year where I think it was somebody played against Texas and they did this reverse. It was just a very intricate reverse, which had the defense all off track. Guys were going one direction, should have been going in another direction. But he just does just a basic handoff reverse, like nobody knows what's going on. I don't think he's just a terrible coach, but I think people have picked up on his tendencies, which makes him not as efficient as he used to be.
Martin, over the last 11 years, I know he would have fit in beautifully on the teams that you played on, and he hasn't said he's done, but we can all do the math. What's your impressions of Zach through the years?
Yeah, what you just said. Over the years since I retired, the greatest compliment, and I haven't paid it to too many people, but the greatest compliment I can pay anyone is to tell them that I would have loved to have had them as a teammate. And Zach Martin, I would have loved to have had as a teammate. We would have found a spot for him. I don't know who we would have taken out of the lineup, but the guys that I played behind were awfully good and wouldn't replace any of them. But Zach Martin is of that ilk, and he could have played in any generation. He certainly is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and couldn't be prouder of the career that he had.
Eric, Brian, before we let Troy go, either of you have anything for him?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I would just love to know, Troy, how you think the Cowboys can keep pace with this Bengals offense tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all Troy said. He thinks that Mike McCarthy's going to be back next year. He didn't think Mike McCarthy was a bad coach. But like I said, Jerry Jones is the owner. And I don't think whether we replace the coach, got a new coach, or what, as long as Jerry Jones is the owner, nothing's going to change with this team. Nothing's going to improve. It may improve for a season as far as like some wins, and he'll get everybody hyped up like they always do, and we'll say, damn, we got some here. We got some here. But the moment we think we got something and we may be missing like one piece, Jerry Jones won't even fix it. He won't even make the necessary pickups right before the playoffs to do a nice playoff run. When we have key players and we're going into these seasons where we have great seasons, everything seems to be working out fine. We just need one or two players. That's when Jerry Jones won't pull a trigger because he thinks he knows it all. And he's wasted so many players. He's wasted, what was our center who had Guillain-Barré syndrome? You know who I'm talking about. Him, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, DeMarcus Ware. Who else? I really think we're wasting Jordan Lewis because I really like him. He's been a solid player with us for years. I think Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott, he's not what we really want them to be. But it was times these last couple of years where we should have won a Super Bowl, bro. Who else? Who else? Even going back to the times when we had Tony Romo and them, it was a couple of players that played then that we wasted. We about to waste DeMarcus Lawrence as well. He's still hurt, I think. So when it comes to this team, like I say, and I keep saying again, Jerry Jones is one of the worst owners in this league. He's the one that's holding us back. And nothing's going to change unless he decides to change. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had today, man. If y'all got some comments, leave them at the bottom of this page. Make sure that y'all please go like this video, YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. I actually started another YouTube page off of Roddy Rod show, where it's going to be more sports oriented. Maybe I'll start that up next year. This year I started to do it, but the Cowboys wasn't so good, so I've been focused on more of the politics side and trying to keep them separated from this and the sports side. So maybe later on I'll do maybe basketball because I'm a Lakers fan, but I haven't been watching basketball either. Maybe I'll start watching that. I think for me, a lot of things depend on the Cowboys, man. If the Cowboys doing pretty good, it's like it's easier for me to watch any of my other teams. When the Cowboys usually don't do so well, it's hard to watch football that season. And then the other sports I kind of fall off on. But, if I had some other people to get into it with me, I could be more consistent with that. But I try to do more basketball kind of once the football season is over with. But that page is, let me see if I can get y'all to follow that page also. That page is, let me see. I don't even remember it. I done took it off my phone. Hold on. Let me see if I got it actually on my phone, not my computer. My bad. Because I have an extra account. Okay. If you go to... I didn't know I named it this. You can follow me over there at Mr. Roddy Rod, or you can search up Cowboy Corner with Roddy Rod. I think I got one video over there. But yeah, follow me over there. And I'll get that. That's going to be more of my sports-oriented channel. I'm going to keep more sports and things of that nature on that side. So, yeah, go to at Mr. Roddy Rod, Mr. Roddy Rod on YouTube, or you can search Cowboy Corner with Roddy Rod. The with is like a W/Roddy Rod, one word. And you can find me over there. But, yeah, as always, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. I appreciate y'all checking out the channel. I appreciate y'all tuning in and participating how you want to. Make sure y'all leave some comments, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.